Many things affect student well-being. One way to conceptualize this is the study ability model, for example, that has 4 dimensions. First, their students' personal resources, such as their background or life satisfaction. And then there are study skills, meaning the strategies they use or motivation. And then there are pedagogical points like pedagogical environment, and as well as teaching and counseling.
There is many things in life that can affect students' well-being. Financial burdens, health issues, and what's going on with their family and friends. Additionally, students can experience different kind of pressure related to expectations. For example, they may feel pressure to study fast, achieve good grades, and get a decent job right after their studies. In addition to external pressures, they can feel very high expectation towards themselves. For students' well-being, it's crucial to balance their study load with their personal resources. Sometimes it's important to lower personal expectations and prioritize well-being.
Like you said, students do not study in a vacuum. Things going around the society affects the students' well-being. For example, reductions on student benefits in recent years have meant that more and more students have to supplement their income with work, which is away from their time to study and recover. Many students have concerns about their own employment after graduation, which also pushes them to find work and experience during their studies. The expectations and the demand at the societal level for students to complete their studies at a faster and faster pace whilst keeping up with good grades is also taxing for the well-being of students. On the other hand, the student and the university community provide strength and endurance for students during their studies and increase their well-being.
Our studies have shown that well-being and learning are very much related. For example, our study showed that this kind of lack of reflection in studies and fragmented knowledge base can be related to exhaustion or burnout in studies. And of course, time management skills such as motivation in studies are important.
Studying involves much more than just study skills. Emotions also play a significant role.
That's right.
Learning something new often involves uncertainty. For example, it is impossible to know exactly what the paper will be about before writing it. During student studies, they also encounter concepts that are difficult to understand. It's important to students to accept these feelings of uncertainty and continue to work towards their goals. Accepting these feelings are crucial because pushing them aside can lead, for example, procrastination.
That's right. Actually, our study has also shown that this kind of acceptance of emotion and emotional regulation can be more important in proceeding in studies than learning skills.
This makes sense. Some key things that I think are important for teachers to do to support the students' well-being is providing clear instructions and expectations for students. Here, the transparency of assessment criteria is important. Giving the students timetables for the course, what themes will be taught and when during the course, and access to materials in advance helps the students to prepare for lectures. Feedback on tasks is also part of the learning process for students and important. Utilizing pedagogy that supports learning is also crucial for the well-being of students.
That sounds very much like constructive alignment, meaning that the intended learning outcomes and methods and assessment are aligned and very visible to the students. When thinking about student workload, alignment is very crucial as well, because you really need to think what is the core knowledge and skills that the students need to learn. And actually the workload calculator is one thing you can also use here. And of course, emphasizing interaction between the students and active learning is also important for student well-being.
A safe learning environment is a key factor of students' learning and well-being. In such environment, students can freely ask questions, make mistakes, and experience uncertainty. Support from peers and teachers can also help. An encouraging atmosphere helps them to strengthen their self-efficacy beliefs. And then it's easier to accept uncertainty as well.
High-quality guidance also supports the well-being of students. Like you said, the fact that the students feel that they are not alone and can get help and support when they need it. It is important for the teachers not to belittle the challenges that the students face, but to listen to them. This also creates a safe community, which in turn supports and enhances the individual well-being. To support the students' well-being, the degree program should consider the whole learning pathway when designing the curricula. This way you can help to avoid having all the demanding courses at the same time for students. Also providing flexible and alternative completion methods allows students to have a say in their own learning and designing their own schedules. Accessibility is something that will benefit all students in multiple ways. Collecting feedback on the development of the curriculum and the studies, using it and also making it visible for the students how the feedback is used is important.
So constructive alignment is very important at the program level too. And actually constructive alignment is very important when we think about alternative course completion methods.
I agree. As a part of planning process, it's useful to consider alternative course completion methods. The more alternative course completion methods we have, the fewer individual arrangements we need, and the more accessible the learning environment will be.
One of the things that needs to be considered in study planning is how to support the creation of a learning community through drafting the curricula. For example, we know that there are certain phases in the study, like in the beginning of the studies and the transition from bachelor's to master's degree, where face-to-face teaching would be beneficial and the community is deliberately built at the program level.
This is a very important issue because teachers can face challenges in their work and it can be very burdening, such as things as large student numbers or different lack of resources. It's very important to take teachers' own workload and well-being into account and accept that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Interaction with students is also something that teachers can focus on. It has been shown that this kind of interactive approach to teaching is not only related to student well-being, but also teachers' well-being.
It's important for teachers to consider their own boundaries as well. Sometimes it's difficult to decide what is enough and where to reduce workload. Therefore, discussion at the program level and at the university level are important. Sometimes talking with a colleague can make it a little bit easier to prioritize.
It's obviously in the students' interests as well that the teachers do well. Students do appreciate the work of the teachers, and maybe in everyday life we may forget to thank them, but at the Student Union we see it every year when we open the application for the Magister Bonus, Best International Teacher and Good Supervisor Awards, for which we get a lot of good feedback for the teaching staff from the students. I think to summarize everything we have discussed, some good options are to have clear instructions, timetables and assessment criteria for the students, to use alternative completion methods in the planning of the curricula and the studies. Also remembering that community and friendship support the student well-being, and we should be intentional about building these throughout the studies.
I agree. You can really go a long way by just focusing on basic pedagogical principles and interaction and compassion towards yourself and others.
Psychological safety and responsible interaction summarize mainly our discussion today.